some students, we were able to get some additional statements for today. So I'm going to be reading on behalf of Niki Howland. All right, so in June 2000, I was 18. I knew nothing about credit or lending as I come from a poor family. I myself was unemployed at the time, and my mom was a single mom working as a waitress, making $2.13 per hour plus tips while supporting 3 kids. I called ITT Tech Recruiter after seeing a commercial. Her name was Claire Levitt from ITT Tech, Albuquerque, New Mexico. She immediately rushed me through the loan process. I was told this school would cost me around $18,000 with my Pell Grant. Shortly after recruiting me, Claire left the school. I've kept all documentation and I have proof of everything. Even after all these years, I have my old student ID. I didn't know back in 2002 to 2004 that the recruiter pulled my credit, my mom's credit, and now my ex-husband's credit until recently when I submitted evidence to the CFPB to file a complaint. All of our credit was denied, but ITT Tech still found a way to fund me by means of predatory lending. I had no idea I would have high interest rate private loans with accruing interest while I was attending ITT Tech. I had no idea I would even have private loans on top of the multiple federal student loans. I discovered about 11 federal loans and 3 private loans 6 months post-grad. I was actively trying to find work in my field. ITT Tech stole my Pell Grant as it was applied to my dad. I was so determined to break the cycle of poverty in my family, and I was promised a great job and a bright future by ITT Tech. I was sold hopes and dreams, which I later found out to be all lies. Now, all I have is a revolving door of high interest rate debt with useless piece of paper ITT Tech calls my associate degree in computer science. I was one of those statistics likely to default. I've never defaulted, but I'm stuck in a cycle of revolving debt. I ended up with 11 federal loans totaling $22,000 after I graduated. Interest accrued and compounded. I had no idea I would have 3 high-interest private loans with accruing interest while I was attending the school. I had no idea I would even have private loans. Oh, this is a repeat, let me skip. All 3 private loans totaled $6,074, not including the 13.25% interest rate with a 10% origination fee on all 3 loans charged to me when Bank One ITT Tech sold my loans to Sallie Mae, now Navient. The amount of $6,000 seems payable, right? Well, after paying for nearly 12 years, my balance as of September 2015 is $4,047, which means I've paid roughly $2,000 in 12 years. Navient randomly compounds interest every time I make a payment. No bank will touch these private loans held by Navient. My payments go directly to interest. This is true for my federal loans as well. As of September 2015, I owe Navient more today on 2 FFELP loans, one subsidized and unsubsidized. I had multiple seemingly small Stafford loans, which I later consolidated under FFELP. How is it that I've made these payments and I owe more in federal loans than I did in 2004 when I graduated? I have been paying for 12 years. My student loans totaled $33,000 when I graduated. I now owe $33,500. It's the biggest debt I have. I have absolutely nothing to show for it except for a piece of paper on my wall with 0 value in the job market. At this rate, I'll be paying it off for the rest of my life. I've never used my degree. I was promised job placement, but the only thing ITT Career Service gave me was a half-inch packet with printouts from Monster.com and other employment websites. I visited Career Service about 9 times while I was a student and about 4 times post-grad. Each time I visited, I was given a packet of printed out jobs listing for my, quote, field. I had already been applying for work throughout my 2 years and well after. I finally found a job working for a phone company in Florida in 2005, which had nothing to do with my degree of applied computer science. I fixed phone lines and I installed DSL in small businesses and homes. I was a blue-collar worker driving around in the hot sun and running cable. I went from phone box to troubleshoot static on the phone lines. The education was poor. I don't know how I even passed trigonometry or algebra. I have no idea how to do that math. I even have old homework that I saved. I went to school for a computer networking and systems of applied science associate's degree. I still have no knowledge of how to administer networks. It should have been noted that I had no formal education in middle school or high school. I received my GED equivalent from an unaccredited Scientology classroom called Denison Academy at the age of 14 in 1998. I've never studied for it. I paid $500 for a fake piece of paper saying that I have my GED equivalent. The student debt crisis ruins lives. Even if you don't default like me, you will be paying for the rest of your natural life. My student debt affects the lives of my children, my husband, and myself. If the school is defunct, the degree is null and void, and so should be our debt. I am fighting for class-wide student debt discharge for all victims of defunct for-profit colleges. The student debt crisis needs bipartisan reform and our debts eradicated. Thank you for listening to my story, Niki Howland.